Section 7, The Fall of Babylon, the Rise of the Beast, and the Final Deception. In the culmination of his visions, Dumitru Duduman was shown the spiritual and prophetic collapse of the great harlot, Babylon. Though many nations bore guilt before God, one empire in particular, overflowing with wealth, drunk on immorality, steeped in deception, had become the symbolic and literal Babylon of the last days. Its sins cried out louder than Sodom, and its stench reached heaven. The Lord declared, "I will raise up the Arab world, the Russians, and many others to destroy her." Her fall would be sudden, devastating, and final. Dumitru then saw the return of the monstrous black bird, the same vile creature from earlier visions. Its wings dripped with curses, and its beak spewed hatred against the saints. Empowered by a dark spirit, it hovered over the nations and dropped a scroll bearing a chilling decree. "I was given power to fight the servants of God. I have already seized some. Soon I will come for more." The persecution had begun. Suddenly a bolt of lightning struck the bird, and it collapsed. But before any relief, it rose again and hissed, "I only pretended to die. I will be granted full power." This was a direct unveiling of the beast, the spirit of Antichrist, cloaked in false peace and a deceptive defeat. The world would believe evil was vanquished, but it would return stronger and more seductive than ever. This resurrection would be not just political, but global and supernatural. In another vision, Dumitru saw two approaching clouds, one red marked with a hammer and sickle, symbolizing atheistic communism and rebellion against God, the other white, glowing with a divine star. The red cloud surged to swallow the white. Darkness grew, and the light seemed lost. But then a larger white cloud descended, from which two radiant beings emerged. Their presence drove the darkness back. They declared, 3¼ pages remain in the book of the Gentiles. When they are filled, grace will depart. Be holy, be ready. This warning carried terrifying weight. Grace would not last forever. Once the book of the Gentiles was full, once the last soul had turned to God, the veil of grace would lift, and the beast would reign openly. The final deception would begin. Then Dumitru saw a valley ringed by mountains, torn open by thunder and fire. The very earth rebelled against the light, and from the chasm rose Lucifer, preparing his final kingdom. A voice from heaven declared, "Darkness is coming. A great deception shall cover the world. Only the discerning will see the truth." This deception would not look like evil. It would appear as peace, unity, tolerance, justice, progress. But beneath it lay the same ancient hatred for the Lamb of God. Lucifer's kingdom would be founded not just on violence, but on lies, wonders, signs, and a counterfeit gospel. Next, Dumitru saw 8 kings riding like masked warriors consumed with rage. Each fired upon a crooked star in the sky, and it began to burn and fall. "That star is America," said the angel. "Its bent tips show it has fallen from truth. The 8 kings are those who will destroy her, and they will succeed." The nation's flag, once a symbol of freedom, was torn and bleeding. Babylon would fall, not just as a government, but as a spiritual harlot that had seduced the nations. Her destruction was divine justice, her end unavoidable. Then Dumitru saw the Pope again, seated in a throne-like helicopter, proclaiming victory over the Protestants. This was no longer a conflict of nations, it was a war of faiths. False religion would unite with political power. A global empire would arise, claiming to represent light, but fueled by darkness. The whore would ride the beast. Yet through all of this, God's message did not change. Be holy, be ready. Come out of Babylon, flee deception, stand in the truth. The age of comfortable Christianity, of lukewarm belief, was ending. The wheat and the tares would be separated. The fire would test every soul. This was the final warning before the storm. The deception would be so persuasive, so overwhelming, that only those sealed with the truth would endure. Only those who had climbed the mountain, walked in holiness, and heard the shepherd's voice would remain unmoved. The beast was rising, the whore was falling. The final confrontation was at the door,